The anger from what happened at Union Station lives on long after the shock of the shooting wears off. That frustration is fueling a push for change.
I want Kansas City to be the light and change in this country.
We've seen public meetings on the county level filled with people weighing in on how to fight this problem. Jackson County legislator Manny Abarca started hosting special listening sessions in late February. He had to hide inside Union Station with his young daughter the day of the shooting.
I would love to see us pass background checks, permit processes, insurance requirements, these types of things. And I know we're going to get sued, but I think that's the point. Let's do it. Let's drive this issue forward and get stuff done. And if we can't pass it, let's fight it in the courts.
Abarca plans to host these sessions until policy change actually happens. What will that mean? Well, making local changes is tough in Missouri, where state law governs much of what counties, cities, and towns can do when it comes to gun reform. That's not stopping people and parents in our community from pushing for that change in both Missouri and Kansas. And you've likely seen them at rallies across the metro.
Actions speak louder than words. And with our collective and continued advocacy, we hope that those same legislators will finally commit to passing laws that actually ensure gun safety.
A number of parents are even taking their pleas for change directly to lawmakers in both our states, hopeful that someone will pass a law that would help curb gun violence here at home. One group called Lives on the Line is working to push through the partisanship of this issue, which is a challenge in and of itself. Please welcome co-founders Jesse Bustamante and Courtney Zong. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. First off, tell us about your group. This is a group of moms, started as a group of moms. The popularity, the interest, I should say, has really picked up since the Parade Day shooting.
Yeah, that's right. So we started about a year ago in the wake of the Covenant shooting, and we're three moms from the Kansas side, 3 moms from the Missouri side, who really came together and said, we've got to do something about this. And we really saw a need here in Kansas City for a hyper locally focused group that could really get at the unique issues facing Kansas and Missouri. We have great partners on the national level and Moms Demand in Everytown, but we saw some unique struggles that we have here. We know that Kansas City is routinely one of the most violent cities in the entire United States, and so we wanted a group that could message to our lawmakers on the Kansas and Missouri side in a way that we thought would really make a difference.
Yeah, and we should mention that both of you were at the parade the day of the shooting. Does that underscore your mission? And tell me what your main goals are right now.
Oh, it makes it critically important. Gun violence has taken over our country in an endemic that is very, very real. And it's getting closer and closer to home. And with the Chiefs rally and the Chiefs parade and the shooting that occurred, I mean, it came here. It came to home. It came to our front steps. That further invigorates us to keep moving forward and keep challenging what we're doing in the community to make sure we can make a positive effect on gun reform.
We've seen your group out on State Line Road in the months since you've been founded, trying to get attention of drivers, but you've moved on now to state capitals. You're in Jeff City and Topeka. How has that gone? We're kind of in 2 red states when you look at who runs the legislature, so how has the reception been?
Yeah, you're right. I will tell you the reception hasn't been great so far, but some of the things that we're focusing on not only are passing gun reform bills, but also opposing bills that we see as sort of furthering the erosion of gun control on both sides of the state line. And we have heard from lawmakers that the more people go to the state houses, submit testimony at these public hearings, the more they do pay attention. And so we have to kind of keep that hope alive that the more people we can recruit to our effort, the more voices are heard that kind of drown out the voices that have been so prevalent up until recently. We think that we are going to continue to make a difference.
What actionable items do you want done? Is this universal background checks? Is this just protecting, locking up guns?
Yes.
What is it?
All of the things you just said. So universal background checks, stricter gun laws, right? Safe storage laws, making sure that we are just getting in there and providing the resources and support needed for our community to further enhance gun reform. We've also been going to the school boards and imploring and empowering them to say, hey, send out messages about safe storage, how to do it, how you can get possibly free gun locks from your local law enforcement. It's here are the resources available to you to keep your community safer locally. And that's really the purpose of Lives on the Line. Let's keep it local, let's keep it real.
And cast a wide net and try to get change wherever you can, I imagine.
Wherever we can, right? To make this just a safer place for all of us to be.
How do you push past the politics here? Because this is a human lives issue.
That's a really great question. And one of the things that we keep coming back to as an organization is this foundational principle when we're having these conversations is we agree as an organization that the Constitution protects an individual's right to own a gun. Absolutely agree with that. We are not for gun confiscation. I think that gets thrown around a lot as a way to kind of fearmonger about this topic. But with constitutional rights comes the government's ability to regulate those rights. You know, we have to register to vote. We can't defame people in the public sphere. And so what we say is the government has a duty and the authority to regulate these rights. It can't just be unfettered access to guns. And so what we want to encourage is the notion that we as a society need the tools to keep guns out of the hands of the wrong people. And so things like red flag laws are so important. Things like universal background checks, as Courtney just mentioned. We just want to make sure that law enforcement and society has the tools to identify the people who shouldn't have guns and make sure that they don't have the free ability to go get guns and then cause all kinds of violence with them.
We'll be watching your progress closely. Jessie Bustamante and Courtney Zong, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you would like to learn, donate, get involved with Lives on the Line, or even just hear what these moms have to say, you can visit them online, follow them on social media. Their website is wearelivesontheline.org.